Live from our studios, just steps from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip, it's The Business Lounge with your host, David Wright.
Hi, I'm your host, David Wright. Welcome to the Business Lounge, where we talk to real people about real business and real success. With me today, I have Michael Harris of More Pain, Please. And Mike, I'm sorry. Most people avoid pain, and I understand. No pain, no gain. I understand that. So how did you come up with that name? Let's just start right there.
Well, if I were to go off the grid just for a moment, when you associate success, there is pain. And when you have pain, there is somewhat some pleasure. It all depends on what perspective you're looking at it from. If you look at it from a completed perspective, you have to have pain to enjoy the pleasure of what you have arrived to at that time.
So obviously you've gone through a fair amount of pain. But before we get in to that situation, how did you get to Las Vegas? Are you a native or are you from outside Las Vegas?
No, I am not a native of Las Vegas. This wouldn't have been a place I would have chose to come to on my own. But because of some life's circumstances and situations, I then moved here. Upon coming here, this is where I reside now, and this is where I stay. I've been here for about roughly 25 years. And so I know that goes back against what I said.
You're almost a native at 25 years.
Right, but at any time I can leave if I want to. There's nothing holding me here. But I like the freedom of being here on my own choice. And I'm here because I was working in ministry at a particular church here in Las Vegas. And upon coming out of that, I went into personal training. But I was personal training before going to that ministry. I put personal training on the side. I did bodybuilding, professional bodybuilding for a while. And from there, I've always had an understanding of health and fitness. And I've kept it up in my personal lifestyle, as well as trying to help others achieve what their desired goals are.
So you touched on a kind of a touchy subject, because when you say bodybuilding,
yes.
a lot of times people associate that with steroid use, but you don't look like you're the type of person that would need or want to use steroids. How did you make that choice?
Well, as candid as I am most of the time, I did dabble with steroids in a period of time in my life or in my career as far as bodybuilding. You have to decide, what is it that you want? Is it the money? Is it the fame or the fortune, as they say? Or is it, and in the process, compromise health to certain degrees? Or you just pay attention to what's going on around you and apply the most important things to yourself. And that is to get what you can while you can without hurting yourself in the process.
Very well said. Very well said. So I come to you and, I'm 62 years old. I haven't really worked out in 30 years.
Okay.
Okay. He's like, what? Are you going to admit that on TV?
Right.
But, okay, I do occasionally ride my bike. I go for walks. I've had some health conditions that have really kind of reduced me to a sedentary lifestyle. How would you help me get back to a point where I don't have any aspirations of looking like you do, but I do want to be healthy. So take me through that assessment process, and what would you recommend for me?
Well, we would have to give you a mind-mental transformation. Apparently, your physical has altered the understanding of your being able to do and not do certain things. You had the freedom before the physical took over to be able to do and not do certain things. You still have that freedom, but now you're not capable of it anymore. And so my thing is to redefine the mental side of your existence, to find out, or to show you the picture of what is better for you, what is advantageous for you, what will move you to a place where you can live life being happy, growing older, or gracefully growing older, and not being a catalyst to someone else.
Yep. And it's interesting that you should touch on that, because America is facing two true epidemics One is obesity in children.
Yes.
And, there's the First Lady's initiative to get out and move. There's the NFL's initiative, 60 minutes a day, get out and play. And when I was growing up as a kid, we were outside all the time. And now we've kind of moved away from that. How would you, or what would you recommend to parents to get their kids outside?
A lot of it comes to where you live. I grew up in Philadelphia partly, and the other part in Delaware. And so being in Philadelphia, you're not limited to, but you are in one sense of the word. When I moved, my parents moved us to Delaware, we had all the open outdoors, and we were able to do a lot of things. And my father did things with us as far as throw the ball, throw the football, and things of the sort. Well, a lot of parents I call it the microwave society, depending on the ages of such, they don't spend much time with their kids. And that's not a knock on anybody, because I understand life circumstances and situations. But it's very important that we spend time, so we have to reprogram the mind, dealing with the parents first, and then are given a certain approach to the kids to look at life in a longevity perspective and not just the hustle and the workforce of life today.
So I heard you say very clearly that the parents need to take the initiative to get the kids outside.
Absolutely.
That they themselves it cannot be do as I say, not as I do type scenario where they send the kids outside. They actually should be outside themselves.
Yes, I work out with my daughters. I play basketball with my son at the time that we are able to come together. My youngest son, he'll be 14 in June, and so I'm working him out in the gym. And so, but these are the things I do myself. I would not ask him to do something I am not doing. I wouldn't ask him to do something I cannot do. So all the more I want to have grandkids. I want to be able to do things with my grandkids. And so it's a longevity perspective for me, but it's a renewed mind perspective that I have to look at the longevity to understand what I need to do now to make the now beneficial for all parties involved, which is my family, ultimately.
So in looking at going through this assessment process, where would you have somebody start who really hasn't done aside from the mental aspect, to get started repairing, because it is damage, repairing the damage that's been done over years?
Well, now we have to look at the planning process. We have to look at what they are capable of doing. So, for an example, if you came and we sat down and we did an assessment, the assessment would be first is to figure out where you are mentally. And where do you want to go mentally? If I can help you feel better about self, then you will give me what I want from you to help you become what you have come to me for in the beginning. And so that is the ultimate thing first, is the mental. If we can get the mental together, then the body falls. Falls meaning follows.
Yeah.
And that's the important part. It's mind over matter, as once was said. If you don't mind, it don't matter. But it doesn't, the body can't speak. It lets you know that something is wrong. But the mind speaks for the body to say what needs to be done to make what the body is not doing to do, to benefit the mind, to make the mind happy. So it's a mind game in the sense of the word. You feel better, you do things. You don't feel better, you have all the reasons and excuses, and now you become a detriment to your family and peers because you got the woe is me when you are the one that made the woe is me be not tolerated by everybody else.
Happened in the first place,
yes.
Right?
So it's a mental assessment. And then once we do that, I see what your capabilities are, what you can and cannot do. And then I pattern my workout for you around the things that you can do. And then as the things you can do become better for you, then now we do the things that you couldn't do before. For an example, I have a gentleman, and I train him, and he's a big fella. And our whole goal was to get him walking. And my goal for him was to get him to walk a mile without stopping. When we first started, it was an arduous task. But as we kept going, then now he's walking the mile, and not only is he walking the mile without stopping, but he's walking the mile faster. And now he's doing things while walking the mile that I have him doing, that he's able to do those things and still keep the mile going without stopping. So we had a goal. I helped him, or made him see the goal of what I was doing for him, which was a benefit for him, that therefore I'm happy because he's getting the benefits.
So for someone like your client, or someone who's listening now that really hasn't done anything, simply going out and walking, whether it's starting with that quarter mile, half mile, 3/4 mile, whatever the case may be, is to just get out and get that done.
Yes. And encouragement. Tell people what you're doing, because it makes you be accountable, hopefully, be accountable to what you're telling them, that now in what you're telling them they're going to do. But if they tell other people about what they're doing, then other people now can share in their accomplishments and root them on even further, like running a marathon. There are people standing on the sidelines cheering you on. That's your motivation to keep going. Sometimes on the our minds need the motivation to keep going, but we can't get it from ourselves. So then we have other people cheer us on, and therefore now they stimulate us to go forward because we see the results from what they're cheering us for.
Outstanding. Michael, it's been great to have you on the show. Our time has run out, unfortunately. So how can people find out more about Michael Harris and what you can do for them?
Well, people can find out what I do because you'll have me come back for about 2 hours and we'll talk about this thing ongoing. And then, we can get people calling in and I can answer questions on that. So talk to the man, will you? Anyway, I can be reached as Michael Harris, 4855 at yahoo.com. My cell number is 702-812-2576. You can call me directly. I make our nutrition programs, workout programs, and we goal set to get you moving forward.
Michael, thank you for being on the show today.
You're very welcome.
This is Dave Wright from the Business Lounge, where we talk to real people about real business and real success. Until the next time, God bless. Thanks, man.